Hi, this is Jill from Humu Yoga, and this is the gentle yoga practice. Today, we're going to be working with the theme of the soul. And I just love this because it really encourages us to put the focus on the inside and honor that and feed that. So let's go ahead and start. You could take your hands down to the sides, and you could be seated in whatever is comfortable for you on the floor. You could be propped up on blankets. You could have your feet out, just somewhere where you can sit up really tall. So once you've established that, close the eyes, tune into pelvic floor, what we call Mula Bandha, and just engage it. And then a little higher, pull the belly back, right below the navel, pull it back and up. We call that Uddiyana Bandha, or flying upward. And then at the top of the spine, drop the chin in Jalandhara Bandha, the chin lock, and we're sealing in that supportive energy. And now you can just focus on the breath, the inhalations, the exhalations, trying to breathe fully into the rib cage and exhaling, tuning inwards. Taking the hands to prayer position now. Let's vibrate with the mantra Om, Aum, all the sounds of the universe. Taking a breath in. You have to learn from the inside out. No one can teach you. No one can make you spiritual. There is no other teacher but your own soul. Put your heart, mind, soul, even into your smallest acts. This is the secret to success. Man does not have a soul. He is a soul. He has a body. Silence your thoughts and your soul will speak. You are a unique, beautiful soul. I just love that. I love that. You are a soul, right? So let's try to, in the practice today, really honor that, really feed that. And to me, that means a lot of modification. If things aren't feeling right, we modify. Today, I'm going to use a couple of just your standard yoga blocks to assist a little bit later on. But it's okay if you don't use them. But I just find they give a little height. So let's go ahead and get started. With the hands by the sides, just take a moment to re-engage, right? Just lift way up. And from that place, we're gonna move with breath, really feeling the breath, how it encourages movement. So inhaling, reaching up, and exhale, reaching out. And let's do that a few times. Move with your breath. Inhale, it feels good. Take a breath in. And exhale, reaching out. One more. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, reach out. And now we're gonna inhale here. Take your right hand to the side of your head, and then you're just gonna exhale and slowly pull that right ear, so it's this ear pulling down, but you're not pulling with your hand, you're just dropping your head and the hand is just assisting there. And then you can drop your right elbow and turn your chin down. And then at the same time, I'm reaching away with that left shoulder, just getting a nice stretch in the neck. And then inhale, come back to forward facing, and exhale, release. And we'll do the other side. So inhale here, exhale. I'm letting the ear just drop. So it's just the left ear dropping in. And then at the same time, I'm reaching the right shoulder away from the right ear. And it's just the weight of the hand. I'm not pulling. And breathe here. Just notice what's going on in the neck. And then gently let your chin drop. And notice what's going on there. And really reach that right shoulder away from the right ear. So you get a really nice long stretch. And then inhale, letting the head come up. And now we're going to take it into a side bend. So from here, let's go ahead and take the left hand behind the head and sit up as tall as you can. And then from here, you're going to let the elbow drop and slowly come into a side bend. And then from here, again, I'm pulling the right shoulder away from the right ear. I'm going to turn to look down. And then from here, I'm turning to look back up again. And then exhale, turn. Inhale, open up. And one more. Exhale, turn. So I'm turning from the ribs. And inhale, look up, not from the head. The head comes up, right? And then from here, go ahead and reach the arm. And then from here, you could take your gaze down for a moment. Just notice what that feels like. Keeping this left arm really reaching. And then slowly turn the head. And then maybe, if it feels good, turn up. And then inhale, rise up. And we'll do the other side. So reaching the right arm up, you can turn your elbow down, come into a side bend. And then from here now, you're going to open up. Inhale. Exhale, you're still pulling the left shoulder away from the left ear. Exhale here, and it's an inhale, opening up. And one more, exhale. And then inhale, opening up. And go ahead and reach the arm. For a moment, keep your gaze down. And keep reaching your arm, and then slowly turn forward, and then maybe up if it feels good. And then inhale, we rise up. Now let's just take both hands behind the head and sit up as tall as you can. Shine, feel that soul, that expression, right? That's what I love about yoga too. If you're rooted, you can just find expression. And exhale, we're gonna round. You can even round your low spine, but pull your belly in. Inhale, lift up and straighten up, engage bandhas. And then exhale. You feel a surrender. And then inhale, you feel really expressive. Let's do one more. Exhale, draw the shoulders down. And inhale, lifting up. And then exhale, hands down. Now we're gonna make our way to all fours. So you could just take your legs to the side and come on up. And then from here, we're gonna go to some cat-cows. So you can keep your toes pointed. Or lately I've been liking to tuck under because I can really feel that lift. It just helps me find more expression of that. So round the spine and just get a nice stretch. The shoulders are going away from your ears. And then inhale, start to take your body forward into that arch. Shoulders down and wide. And don't lead with your head, lead with the sternum. And now exhale again, just noticing what's going on in the body today. And then inhale and come forward. And we'll do one more. Exhale, round. Inhale, coming forward, moving with your breath, inhaling. And then exhale, let's come to neutral spine. Let's take you could take your knees a little wider, keep them hip width. You could point the toes now. Let's just walk the hands forward. So you don't even have to go very far. Just take it where it feels okay in your body. I'm keeping my hips up over my knees somewhat, so that I can just get the upper back bend. I want to really open the upper back, open the chest, the shoulders, and breathe into that. Inhale and exhale. And now inhale, let's come down to the elbows and slowly walk back and come onto the belly. And then from here, just rest your head in your hands and lift your right leg. But as you do that, let's first talk about being on the belly. So you want to, when you're in this prone position, you want to keep the tail under. You don't want to be sticking the butt out. So the ribs in, tail under, the legs are activated. So let's check that out. Lift your right leg, really activate it. Tail is under. We're not lifted this way, right? Tail under. Try to straighten your leg. And then we'll do the other side. So you feel how the back of the leg is really activated. Really keep that tail under. Pull the belly in and then take it down. Now activating that, right? You keep that working. Let's take the elbows to Sphinx pose. So in this pose, keeping the tail under and the belly lifted, we're widening across the sternum. So feel your shoulder blades drawing down your back and a little bit of widening going there, and lift the sternum. Pull the belly in, tail under. And stay here for a moment if it feels good. Maybe you can take your head side to side gently. Just notice what's going on. Pulling the belly in the whole time. And then we're going to take it back down for a second. And just shake the hips out. Notice, do you have any tension there? Can you just let that go? And then we're going to try that again. So coming onto the elbows, make sure your butt's not sticking out. Really important. Tail under, belly lifted. And this time you could stay here if it felt good, but I'm going to come into Cobra, and I encourage you to try if it feels okay. So start to straighten the arms, really lifting up, widening across the sternum. Really feel that lift. Lift the sternum more, and then at some point, if you want to take your head gently back, but you're gazing down your nose, only to a point where it feels good. It's feeding your soul. It feels expressive. And that's what I love about the yoga postures. And come down. We're not trying to contort ourselves into impossible positions. And then let's come to all fours. Although I have to admit, I was guilty of that in my younger years. Not consciously doing it, but just getting excited and wanting to go deep into things when my body might not have been ready. So let's come to all fours. And this time, if you have the blocks, you could use them, not necessary, but you might feel a little bit more lift. Let's see. So go ahead and let's come to cat-cow and see how it feels now using the blocks. Lift way up. And then inhale, come forward, lead with the sternum. And then exhale, round the spine. So stay here, and we're gonna venture into downward facing dog. So just hover the knees for a moment. Feel how the back gets engaged, and then slowly take it back. Let's come back down to the knees. And then come into a nice arch. And then let's round the spine and slowly take it back. And you can stay here. You could even be really wide if that felt good in your body. You could bend the knees, let your chest come closer to your legs. You want to really push with your shoulders and roll them away from your ears. Push and roll away from your ears. And then you could bend and straighten. Just notice, even if your heels are up, that's okay. And let's slowly start to walk up. So the blocks really help with this. If you're having a hard time, don't worry. You don't have to come all the way up. Just come to where you can. So maybe it's even right here. And then fold. Once you're here, if you notice your hamstrings are really tight, you could come higher on the blocks, right? To really straighten the legs. And then exhale, fold. So you go where you need to go. And inhale, look up and lengthen. And then exhale, fold. You could even bend your knees here. Inhale, lengthen. Get as long as you can, right? Like I said, you could be here. This is fine. Exhale, fold. And one more time to inhale, lengthen. Really see if you can straighten your legs, even if you're wide, right? Just find where you can. And then can you take your hands on your waist, pull your elbows back, and rise up, even if you have to bend the knees a little, that's okay. And then take everything together, like hip width, right? And we'll find this sense of Samasthiti, where everything's standing still and straight, or we call it Tadasana or mountain pose. So you get a sense of really rooting down through your feet. So now that we're standing, we can really engage the legs, and they connect to the hips. Once you get all of that engagement from your feet all the way up, notice where your pelvis is. Can you take your tail so your butt's not sticking out and it's not pushing forward, it's neutral. So your pubic bone and hip bones are on the same plane. And you find all that lifting. And then just take your hands together in prayer position for a moment. Everything's still and straight. And then from here, we're going to attempt the very beginnings of Vrikshasana or tree pose. So you could use the wall, right? And we'll start with the left foot. So really rooting down, like we found in that mountain pose, that Samasthiti, rooting down on that right leg, you could take your left foot and just place it by your ankle. And from here, notice, does your right hip want to go out to the side? Can you pull it up? Try that. It's a nice exercise. Let it go to the right and then pull it up. By doing that, you're going to notice all these muscles that are getting used for stability. It's quite nice. And then you could take your hand to prayer position. There's a gentle gaze down the nose, right, and out, drawing you in and out. And you could stay here. Or if you wanted to try, you could go to various levels. Whatever felt good. You could even use your hands, your hand if that was okay. Keep the belly in and just notice where you're at with this. Do you want to be more expressive? Lift up. Or you stayed here. You wanted to try this. Whatever works in your body. You stayed here, but you found balance. and work, and then come back to Samasthiti, Tadasana, mountain pose. So we'll go to the other side. So you might notice that one side is stronger than the other. I think that's true for most people. So really taking your time to establish that Tadasana, engaging the legs, neutral spine, right? We'll go ahead and step the right foot now by the ankle. And just notice, maybe you can take your hip to the left a little bit and then lift up, engage those muscles. They're all in your rotators, pelvic floor, and then bring it back. Now, keeping those muscles engaged, you could just take your hand to prayer position and experience that. What is that like? Or maybe you wanted to play around with the position of the foot. Maybe you can come up quite high, but you feel this tail under and the knee open, belly lifts. Maybe you want to play with gazing down the nose and forward and finding balance. Or maybe you want to play with a more expressive version of this, lifting up. And maybe your foot is down here the whole time, but you're just finding some nice balance. And then taking it back. Hope that went really well for you, something to play around with. Now we're going to make our way back down again. So we're going to take what's called a sun breath. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold. Try to keep your back as flat as you can, right? As flat as you can. And see if you can touch the blocks. If not, you could have your hands on your legs. And fold in. And then inhale, lengthen through your spine and rise up. And we're moving with breath. And exhale, hands down. We're going to do one more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold as best you can, trying to keep that spine straight, not rounding, right? Really straight, really using your legs. If your knees were bent, that's okay, but do your best. Hands down, and then fold. And from here, I advise you to take the blocks down to step back, because it's a little wobbly otherwise. So let the blocks come down, and we'll gently just step back, and we'll come down to the knees. And then from here, we're just going to make our way to seated. So you could just take your legs to the side, right? And just spin around. And your legs will be here. And let's come into a nice restorative forward bend. So legs out in front of you, finding Dandasana. So we talked about Tadasana, which is standing mountain pose. Dandasana is staff pose, and it sets you up for all of the seated poses. So you want to be sitting up. And if this isn't happening, you could sit on a block, that helps, or you could bend your knees a little bit. But try and get way up there so you're not here. And once you've established that, you can use your blocks for a nice restorative forward bend. So from here, we're going to slowly just take the head down. You might even be here. Pull the belly in and breathe here. And just go, you might find as you're here, you're going to slowly start to maybe take the block down. Just find what feels good in your body. The hands could be here. Try not to lift the shoulders, right? Really see if you can drop those shoulders down. And breathe. Inhale and exhale. Stay here for a few more breaths, just feeling that sense of release. Forward bends are very releasing. It's a time to try and let go. Even though you might be feeling a stretch, it still takes you to that. You want to feed the soul. You want to feel like you're releasing and you're not clenching, right? And breathe. And then inhale, look up and lengthen, and come on up to sit. And then I'm just going to put the block to the side. And let's go ahead and we're going to bend the right knee. So bend the right knee, and you're trying to pull that knee kind of into your armpit. Just what does that feel like? Can you find that? What does that feel like? Maybe you could use both hands, right? Just notice that. And then we're going to take this leg across as best you can. So even if you're leaning back, you want to try and sit up, but as best you can, just as best you can. And like I said, sometimes a block will help with that. Or if you find you're leaning back, maybe try to lift up a few times, right? Just see what that goes. Sometimes it's nice to bend this leg for support and use your hands. Maybe you can find this, right? And opening the knee. And it's really nice to be able to have your body accessible so that you can sit on the floor and you can do things like this. But sometimes it takes a little bit of work to get there. So from here, we're just going to cross this right ankle over the left knee and sit up and just see what you can do with that. And if everything's going well here, we're just going to turn this left elbow in, right? It's actually the shoulder turns in. And then from here, lift up. And I'm just going to walk this right hand back a little bit. And then I'm going to pull the belly in, lift up, inhale, exhale. I'm turning the left ribs to the right. And then I'm only taking my head last. Breathing. And then inhale, coming back. And come to Dandasana. Let's try the other side. So let the left foot come up. Pull the knee back. Just notice what's going on there. Try to sit up as best you can. If you're back a little, that's okay. Just work to get up a little. That's all right. And then we'll bring the leg across really gently, like you're cradling a baby. Sitting up. And if you're back a little, that's okay. Just do your best to sit up. Or maybe this is accessible for you, right? And you're opening the knee. Just see how that feels. You should feel like a nice stretch in your glutes, sitting up. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and take it to the twist. So straighten the right leg and take your left ankle outside of your right leg. Turn the shoulder in and start to come across. Lift up for a moment, pull the belly in. I'm really drawing this sitting bone down. Inhale, and I'm turning the right ribs to the left, but notice I didn't take my head yet. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, I'm turning the ribs, and then the head will go last. And it's really beautiful if you can move with your breath. To me, that's really the essence of yoga, yoga asana, and why I love yoga so much. The moving with breath, the inner focus. And then from there, let's go ahead and take it down to the floor. So we'll do a nice gentle rollback. You could have your knees bent. We'll curl the spine back, or you could straighten them. And I'm using the block here, but just as a way to really engage the arms and the lats, and it helps with support. Curl back and curl up, pulling the belly in. You could use the hands the whole time. Curl back. Let's take a gentle twist to the left. Come back to the center. Curl up. We'll go the other way. Curl back. A gentle twist to the right. Come back. Curl up. And now we're going to go all the way down. So curling, pulling the belly way in. I'm going to put the block down. You could keep it, or you could use your arms and make your way all the way down to the floor. And then once you're here, I'm just going to move down and get on the mat. Just pause for a moment and notice where you are. And then we're going to bend the knees and come into a nice articulating bridge. So take a breath in and exhale. Start to curl your pelvis. Roll the shoulders back and down and lift up. Lift up as high as you can. And then from here, inhale and exhale, start to curl and come down. So pull your belly way in. Make sure your neck is long. Curling and coming down. And we'll do that again. Inhale. Maybe you can move your feet a little closer if that felt good. Exhale, curl and come up. And once you're here, notice where your chin is. Is it down? Is it up? Can you find it right in the center? And inhale here. Let's reach the arms over the head just for a variation. Feel the length here in the side body and start to really curl down. Curling down, stretching the spine all the way down. And then let your hands come down. And then from here, just let your feet come together and let your knees go out for a moment. And you can close your eyes and just feel the gentle opening of the inner thighs. You could even use your hands a little here, but just breathe. Inhale and exhale. Trying to let the knees come down towards the floor, but be easy. You want to really pull in and not be overarching your back. Keep it nice. Nothing forced. Just breathe. Maybe your breath will allow the knees to open a little more. And then from here, gently letting the legs come up. Have your feet a little wider than hip width, arms out to the side. Inhale here, we'll do the windshield wiper. Left knee, right knee. Pause for a moment. Maybe take your head to the right. Head back up, right knee up, and now right knee down, left knee down. Head maybe goes to the left. And then head comes up, left knee, left knee goes down, right knee. And maybe this time you want to take your right ankle and try and draw that right knee down. Whatever feels good in your body. Gentle gaze, maybe to the right, maybe straight up. And then releasing that other way, right knee, right ankle, pulling down and just getting a nice stretch on this left side. Maybe take your gaze to the left. Breathing. Inhale here, letting it come up. Just take a moment for your happy baby. Rock around. And then from here, I just had this thought that babies are so happy because they only do things that feed their soul. and when it's not, they cry and then somebody fixes it for them. And just take a moment in Savasana and notice, can you just become soul? Like nothing else. Don't even think about the day. And stay here with your soul as long as you can. But I'm going to go ahead and bring us out. So just noticing your breath, moving fingers, toes, and start to pull the knees up into the chest. And you can roll to your side and pause in a fetal position. Just stay there. And then come on up to a seated position. And I always love this moment where you can just tune in to noticing the effects of the practice today on your soul, right? And let this resonate in everything you do. Namaste.